My puzzle with all of this is that on the one hand, companies, driven by profit, and you've explained very well the connection between profit and social welfare, which is important. But companies respond to pressure from their consumers, and if they can get away with it, they respond at a minimal level, the least disruptive level to their profitability and to their operations. Continue doing exactly what they did before, but make it look as if they're meeting the requirements of or the preferences of their consumers. If consumers push hard enough, then things really do change. So the responsibility comes back to consumers. But my issue, I guess, is how do consumers inform themselves about what is actually happening, what banks are really doing? So consumers may get an impression. Fashion producers may give consumers the impression that they're taking CSR seriously, or they may give the impression that they're not. How do consumers get an accurate idea of who is greenwashing them and who is providing them with genuine solutions to sustainability problems? That's really a question for all of you, but let's come back to you because you've been nodding a lot.
I've been nodding because I'm very passionate about this, and I agree with you. I like to speak about corporate sustainability more than CSR, because the contribution of a company to the general sustainability of the planet, and when you need some metrics, I speak about ESG. Corporate sustainability, ESG, when you have to measure it, when you have to find performance indicators. How can consumers be sure? Consumers are running away from the fashion industry because of that. It's true, they see greenwashing, social washing, and all the rest. But the system is there. And I disagree only on one point. We do not have to be humbler on communicating sustainability. We have to be true. And we have to follow the European legislation. Today, there is the most advanced legislation in the world, which is the European one. The Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive is very clear, and it brings together profit and sustainability because you have to report according to the double materiality, financial and impact materiality. You have to measure the percentage of your revenue that comes from sustainable activities, CAPEX, OPEX, and everything. And there is one point which is at the foundation of the Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive, which is due diligence. You've got to do due diligence in the bloody supply chain from the beginning to the end. Why is the industry running away from sustainability? Because they do not do due diligence. They do audits. Audit, you get one facility here, one facility there, you audit there, everything is fine, that's gone. Due diligence, it means that all the connection, all the supply chain, and you give to the affected parties the possibility to express their grievances. That's why they do not want to do it. And that's why today there's a big lobby in Europe to dilute the impact of the Corporate Sustainability Due Diligence Directive and of the Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive, the regulation omnibus. That's the same France, they say omnibus, but it's Latin, omnibus. The omnibus regulation is about that, is about diluting that, but this is the only way to be true to what we are and to express sustainability, and it's the only way to be leaders in the world. Otherwise, we follow the blonde guy and all those who say that sustainability is a hype, is fake, and so on, and it doesn't matter. Oh, yes, it's tough to implement all this. It means investment and all the rest. But I think it's better to invest in this than having Stanley Tucci and Meryl Streep full dressed in Devil Wears Prada character at the fashion show. Isn't it so?
Do we agree with that? I think we probably do.
I'm passionate.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I hesitate to say it, but you're Italian. We sort of...
No, it's true.
We love the passion.
It's true.
We love it.
We sort of expect it. But it does bring us to an interesting point, which I think has floated around in the conversation so far, that I'm keen to get at, which is we thought that social consciousness, social responsibility, and that connection between companies and their consumers was heading in one direction. Slowly, but it was moving in a particular direction. It seems the blonde guy, as you put it, is one exponent of a counter-argument that is gaining strength. So where are we overall in popular attitudes to CSR? I mean, the very letters DEI, for example, in America, have become a swear word. The label woke has become a swear word. So are we moving backwards? And are we? You've put forward a defence of the European approach to this, but you've pointed out that European approach is itself under threat from within. So are we moving backwards here? Pavlina, what do you think?
I don't believe we're moving backwards. However, I'm not that optimistic for one reason. I totally agree about CSRD and Omnibus. However, Europe loves regulation, but in such a complicated manner that is hard to implement. We have to keep it simple in a business manner so it could be implemented by the corporations and then easily understood and from the consumers. Because the consumer would continue to be suspicious about social washing, greenwashing, let's say the apparel industry. They come with the best reports, but then again, you have child labor, you have violation of all sorts of labor rules. So we need to keep it simple rather than complicated regulations that at the end of the day, they're hard to implement. In paper, yeah, okay, but again, I'm very much about the pragmatic approach and what can or cannot be done.
Okay, I suspect you'll have a lot of sympathy in the room just in the general principle of simplicity in regulation. It's one of the things you hear most from businesses. Pavlos, your thoughts on the direction of travel? Are we progressing? Are we regressing?
I think that we are progressing. The thing is that in politics, you know, you discussed omnibus and the like. The thing is that reporting is not communication per se. So again, my take is that we need to be really careful when we're discussing all those kinds. When we're trying to communicate to consumers what we do, because these again are automatically seen as, you know, they're trying to make some profit out of it. Do they really care and the like? One out of four might be really interested in all these things. Bottom line is that companies should try. There is an excellent framework, very quickly, published in the Journal of Marketing in 2019, if I recall, called SHIFT, S-H-I-F-T. There was a question earlier about how we change the culture and the like. So these 5 elements is S, social norms. We need to communicate to consumers what others are doing, and I'm starting with this because it's important. These are the so-called meta perceptions, what we think others think, and our behavior depends heavily on what others are doing. Second, H is habit. We need to make it habit. We need to make it a habit. We need to incentivize people in doing it. I is consumers will always ask, what's in it for me, the individual. F is you cannot convince anyone only with reason. You need feelings. You know, this passion in your talk earlier, this convinces people, by the way. And T, make it tangible. Here, now, what's in it for me, and so feelings, and so on and so forth. It's a pretty common playbook. I'm optimistic, but again, we are facing, you know, this suspicion from consumers, and this suspiciousness. We are running the ESG barometer. We are working with UNICEF and CSRLS with children on how they see corporate performance in terms of children's rights. We will soon report the results. You cannot imagine the suspicion and the pushback. You will lose it.
I can.
So yeah, you can. So we need to be really careful. So communicate it, but Ben-Hur advertisements in Sunday newspapers about what we do. You need to find other channels. Have your employees communicate what you do. Yeah, find other sources. Yeah, that's my take.
Okay, that's excellent. I mean, it does get to the sort of grain of this, which is we have this overall sense of the way things should work and the way the world should progress towards sustainability, and it's very easy to divorce that from what people actually demonstrate through their behaviour, and to make all kinds of assumptions that turn out to be wrong. Stefanos, I wanted to bring you back in. You make decisions about investment in hardware, you know, vehicles, and these are long-term decisions. These aren't things that you can just shift on a whim. How do you go about, first of all, assessing for yourself and your organisation what public preferences are, and how do you go about affecting those preferences from your side of the equation?
I will switch to English for the sake of the conversation, so we can understand each other better when we talk. It is true that we were a company that didn't have any investment at all for the last 20 years. And therefore, all we cared about previously was just to do something to say that we existed. In the last 6 years, we've changed all that. We talked with the government, we got the necessary finance that it was absolutely necessary to go forward, to renovate our fleet, change the technology that we are running it with. Because what we've seen was that the passengers, our clients, our consumers, are looking for a better way forward in terms of commuting. And therefore, we needed to find a way to provide them with a totally different concept of how public transport works. So we thought, invest heavily in new vehicles and new technology vehicles, and even try to run into the future for the new kind of vehicles like hydrogen and things like that, to be at the edge of the technology and trying to take advantage of the European financing and the government financing. And we did all that because we are now seeing, after about 2 years now of running the new fleet, at least part of the new fleet, is that the people understand what we're trying to do. There are more coming in to the public transport. Obviously, in your previous question, the statistics are not yet enough to tell us exactly how this is going, but at the same time, we are an organization that used to do nothing at all, and now we are sensitive to sustainability. We are looking our OPEX and our CAPEX according to those lines, and we are very sensitive to what our consumers, our clients, want from us, and trying, in the time now that we have the opportunity to invest, to accommodate their needs. And that's, to me, is the most progressive thing that the public transport company has done over the last 20, 25 years.
Excellent. Very briefly, I'd like to bring you back again to the point that was being made previously about how you communicate your, let's say, green credentials back to your consumers. You're on the sort of other side, as it were, of the corporate fence, and you have to make these decisions about how you communicate with your market. How do you judge the difference between making sure you're not greenwashing, but making sure you're blowing your trumpet and making people aware of what you're doing on the sustainability?
Well, we use our vehicles. Our vehicles, apart from being what they are painted like that, so the people can understand what exactly they're doing. And it is the best way to communicate with them what these vehicles are doing.
Yeah, it's subtle but effective.
And one more thing that we are trying to do now is educate our own people, 5,500 people we have, educate them in order to be able to use mouth-to-mouth communication with the people that they are carrying.
That's the way to go. That's the way to go.
Excellent. Well, that's a very pleasing note of unanimity. I promised to give you an opportunity to ask a question. I'm going to do that now. If anybody has a question, either stemming from the conversation we've had or your own point, something you'd like to raise and put to the panel, now is your moment. I'm not seeing any. There is a hand up over there. So if we get the mic over to the gentleman. There we go.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Nicholas Markatos, congratulations to all the speakers. Because I am a man who likes public transport, I try to get the bus, yet the bus is delayed by 40 minutes. Now, this is more important for me as a passenger than being electric. Congratulations for doing all this renovation, of course, and it is really admirable, and I mean it. But what are you going to do with the scheduling? Because this year, the traffic is worse than ever. And as I am the one who was responsible for having the bus lane in 1995, etc., I feel very sorry that we don't manage as yet to have really buses running on time. Thank you very much.
This is a sustainability question. It's definitely for you.
Of course.
Perhaps you could be brief.
Mr. Markatos, I know him, and yes, spot on. There are two reasons why scheduling isn't what we need it to be, and this is one of our main goals, is exactly that. Not only to offer a better product, I mean, quality bus or whatever, but also to be on time. It's important. There are two reasons for that. One is the global general problem of finding drivers. It's amazing. There are no professional drivers, not in Greece, not in Europe, but globally.
Wow.
We are trying to do innovative things in order to create a better way of getting drivers. For example, for the first time, after I don't know how many years, in Greece, we decided the public transport itself to be, instead of looking out to get in, to employ a professional driver from the market, to create professional drivers. So we're going to teach them how to drive buses ourselves. So we change the legislation in order to do that. That's the first thing we're trying to do. Because more drivers, better scheduling. The second big problem that we face in Athens is the bus lanes. The bus lanes are terrible. Nobody respects the bus lanes. If people start to respect the bus lanes, then the scheduling, half of it at least, will be on time. And we are doing something about that using the new technology. In the new regulation for driving, we are allowed now to have cameras, AI cameras, on board our vehicles. And therefore, by doing that, we will spot on in front of us who is there and shouldn't be there, or doing something that it shouldn't do, and report him to the necessary authority to act on it.
I see a lot of people out there taking notes. So, clearly
so this is already working in a pilot project, and in the next few months, almost all our buses will have cameras on board. So beware.
Yeah, you have been warned. And by the way, if there's anybody out there who wants a career change, they're looking for drivers.
Bus drivers.
So,
thank you very much.
so there's one for you. Any other questions from our audience? Anybody have anything that they want to put to the panel? I don't think so. So there is a
lady.
Second question of the day for you. There's a mic coming. Just give it a second and it'll be with you.
Thank you. I'd like to ask about the lessons learned during the pandemic, when evidently the people turned away from public transport because it was also for health reasons. And we kept seeing photos of people, crumbled in the buses. And what are we doing to get the people back, to make the public transport attractive again? Okay. Besides having efficient and energy-efficient means.
I'm going to broaden this out a bit. I'll give you the last word on this, but I want to ask generally just a 30-second reflection on the impact of COVID, which we've all conveniently forgotten all about. So remind us and how things changed as a result of it. Starting off with you, Pavlos.
Well, at least personally, and as far as I know for many people, the impact of COVID was that I started cycling a lot. And I really believe that we haven't discussed cycling. We don't discuss cycling. I'm an avid cyclist. I have my Brompton over there. So I should have it with me. So we don't discuss cycling here in the country, unfortunately. So I am, every morning I really kiss my wife. I don't know whether I will get back to home. I'm commuting. Thank you for the cameras. This is so important. So the impact of the COVID was definitely that some people started realizing that there is an equipment out there that really beats climate change, and it's one of the most incredible human inventions, and that's the bicycle. We need to start using the bicycle. Well, anyway, I just want to say that.
It relies on another great human invention, the
Yeah,
legs.
I know they're trying a lot.
Important.
They're trying a lot to do that.
Pavlina, 30 seconds.
I started recycling more. We didn't speak at all about circularity in this
Yeah.
panel, which is it's a game changer, sustainability. So I've started recycling and also studying about what we do when we recycle, what happens next, which is one of the problems. The audience, citizens, consumers do not know, so hence they do not recycle as much as they should. So I started recycling a lot more. Living in a small island, I commute to Athens. I saw a lot more people recycling, but they all wonder what happens next.
Okay. We've got cycling, we've got recycling. Simone.
It gave the luxury fashion industry an incredible rebound on the spot, because people thought, the shoppers of luxury, consumers of luxury, hey, we are back into business, we get again, the value of shares, of stocks, of carrying of Vuitton. At a certain moment, Bernard Arnault was the richest man on earth, even more than Jeff Bezos and so on, and then it collapsed again. It collapsed again, it was ephemeral, and we went back to where we were going, a different kind of shopping, more attention to wellness, to reconnection, to nature, and all the rest.
That sounds like a positive change.
Yeah.
Stefanos, address
Apart
the
for those
specific
who
question.
work in the industry.
I will address the specific question and be even more general, is that the pandemic was a very, very difficult period for everybody, but especially for public transport. Not only because it made our job very difficult, but also because it educated badly the people. Yes, there were difficulties in how they were transported, but we went green. We are not just replacing our fleet. We are replacing our fleet and making it even bigger. So we used to have 1,000 buses out. Now we have 1,300 buses, and our target is on 2027 to have 1,500 buses out. Therefore, we're trying to facilitate that, but also, which is most important, we are changing the whole strategic planning of how public transport should be run in Greece, not the way it used to, but the way it's necessary in the year 2040. And this is happening now, combining buses, metro, how they'll be, cycling, electric, other vehicles, smaller, all of them working together for a better public transport.
Fantastic. I hope that answered the question. This is a very broad, very difficult area to encompass in a single conversation. We've wandered around a bit, but we've had a very interesting discussion, I think, and we've answered a couple of questions from the audience, which is definitely a bonus. But we're going to move on. Thank you very much to all four of you.
Thank you.
Please join me in thanking our panel.